Hey lovelies, thanks for stopping by my channel tonight. I am so pumped for tonight's play date because we are going to be hanging out with Danessa. Here I have the Infinite Light palette. This is the third of the Lightworks palette, and I am so pumped, so pumped to be playing with this new palette. I'm sure you've seen it everywhere. I'm a little late to the game in getting my video up, but I wanted to wait until I had a moment to sit down, just me and Danessa, a quiet night in. So we are going to be playing with all of these beautiful shades tonight. I have not used this palette yet. I did actually just swatch all the shades for this video, already filmed those, so I knew what we were getting into. Now, if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and here on my channel I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. So I had a lot of different ways that I could have gone with this video. I know that there are quite a few out there already. I've watched one or two myself just to kind of like get a feel for what people are thinking, but I really just wanted to take some time to be creative with this palette and really give you my true and honest thoughts as a private home makeup lover and also a professional makeup artist, kind of give you my thoughts from both arenas, if you will, and really see the potential of this palette because it is pricey, coming in at $125. It stings the wallet just a little bit. So I'm going to give you my true and honest thoughts on if I think that there is value in this, and if I do think so, who I think it's best for. We are going to do a couple eye looks. We'll do a couple things on the cheeks. You know, we'll end up with this thing all over our face. Well, my face. So let's go ahead and get into that. All right, so like I said, I have not played with this palette yet, but I am very excited to get into this. I did purchase mine from Beautylish during the gift card event, and I was able to snag one of the complimentary gifts. So this is actually a set of the 4 powders that are in the middle here. So this baby is going to be going into my 2K subscriber giveaway, which will be in the future. So she's gonna get tucked away, and if you want a chance to get that, make sure you are subscribed. But I am very excited to play with those as well. They're gonna be beautiful, like iridescent, sparkly shifts. And that's one thing that I really was intrigued about this palette is we do have multiple textures, multiple formulas within this palette to play with. And I think that that's really where Danessa shines as a makeup artist. She is very much about layering, very much about different textures. And I really appreciate that creative side of her. So I'm very excited to dig in. I really did enjoy just even the swatches. They really do feel very nice. And a couple were a little surprising. So we do have 2 Duochrome gels, and we have 4 of those holographic pigments. Those are the ones right in the center, the more like iridescent shades. And then we have 2 powder creams, a pressed glitter, and then we also have 5 multi-chromes. Now, I will have to say, do I think that some of these can be duped out? Yes. In fact, we've already found that some of these shades can be duped within Danessa's own products within the Twin Flames. I do think that they have very different textures though, just in swatching them. Now, I had intended to do some duping in this video, and then I watched Millie from Bad to the Brow, and she did amazing dupes. Amazing dupes. And Millie has a much bigger multi-chrome collection than I do, so I would probably refer you to her channel. I will link her video down below if you want like the mega dupe scenario. But I will maybe at the end insert some swatches of a couple colors in my collection, comparing formulas, shades. You know how that goes, but let me tell you, Millie killed it there. So I really, again, just wanted to bring my professional background and my thoughts to this and really show you maybe how you can play with this and get some potential out of this palette. If you're like intrigued, you're not sure if you'll really use them all, like, is it really worth it? Kind of down that vibe. So that's what we're gonna be working with. Let's stop talking and get some makeup on our face. Come on in. Hold on. Like I said, I did just film all of those swatches, so I'm gonna share those with you first so you can see what we're gonna be digging into, and then the makeup's going on the face. All right, so I'm going to take A07 and dip into Black Hole. That's that black powder cream. And we are just going to lay this down as a base and then go ahead and blend this out on the edges. Now, if you saw in the swatch, I just wanted to show you like how blendy this gets. And by the way, I'm not using any eye primer here. I do really just like to kind of see how a product performs first before using a primer, just to really, you know, kind of get a vibe for it. I like the consistency that this has because it really is super blendable, and I think it gives you the option of smoking this shade out into a nice like charcoaly tone, which is probably what we'll do on the edges here. This is going to be a great option to use as a base for any of these shadows because, you know, a darker base is going to give you a really nice pop. Like you could even just do this shade and then take one of those, what is she calling it? Holographic pigments in the middle. I just kind of want to call them like iridescent shimmers in the middle of the palette, and that would just be a really beautiful look right there. Let's go ahead and go in with a very old Sigma E35 here, and I'm just going to like blur this out. I can always add more if I want to. I just wanted to get a little bit of a base down. So I will say, just from the feel of this, I did put just the tiniest bit of concealer on my eyelids just because I have so much discoloration. But I would say that if you are oily skinned with this cream, you're going to want to use like a primer of some sort, just because I could see it creasing a little bit just because of that creamy consistency. I should probably have like played with this and put a swatch on my hand and then just like let it set, because I'd be curious to see like how this sets down. All right, so now over the top, I'm gonna start with a dry brush and we're gonna go into Galaxy. That's this beautiful one here that has that like blue, green, purple shift, so pretty. Now, like I was saying in the intro, I really feel like Danessa is really a true queen of that like layering, and it's really all about texture to her, and I can really appreciate that. I am gonna go and try to use my finger. If you guys know me, I am not team finger, but I really do think that sometimes these multi-chromes work best when you use a finger or a silicone applicator. Well, I just got a little bit with my nail, but that's all right, we can clean that up. But the key is going to be not to blend these like black base multi-chromes out too much, because then you'll lose some of the sparkle. And I'm avoiding the center a little bit for good reason, because we're gonna go in with the glitter, which I'm really excited to try out. So many people hate on glitter, and I have to say I really don't mind glitter at all, especially if it's a decent formula, if it stays put, and if it's like a finer glitter. You know, if it's not like super chunky monkey, I can really get down behind a glitter. Just taking that original brush with Black Hole on it and smoothing out that edge. So again, this is with a dry brush. I don't see the impact quite as high. I'm gonna go ahead and wet my brush and we'll see if we get a little bit more. So for any makeup lovers out there, you'll have to let me know, when you wet your brush, when you spray your brush, do you spray it over something? Do you spray it like over your carpet? Do you spray it over your vanity table? Do you spray it over your sink if you do your makeup in the bathroom? Because I really just usually like went to the side with reckless abandon and went shh, and now I'm like, how much like Fix Plus, setting spray, whatever I'm using at the time, how much of that is like in my carpet at this point? So what I've started doing is keeping a towel on my table, like usually just like my regular makeup towel, and I will put the brush in front of that and spray it so that like the excess goes onto the makeup towel. Am I new to this game? Like, is that what everybody's been doing this whole time, or have we all just been like coating our floors in Fix Plus and other sprays? Let me know. For some reason, I feel like I can't see it as well in the little like viewfinder, but that really gave it that like oil slick feel. So now we're gonna go ahead and add some of the glitter, some of this Orion shade. Now, I know that Danessa had said it's like self-fixing, you don't have to add glue, da-da-da-da-da, and I was like, oh, I'm adding glue. Like, that's not happening. Until I swatched it, and I thought I would be able to swatch it on my dry hand and just like, but it like, it's tacky. It really, really sticks. So A, I'm kind of excited about that, but B, I do kind of wonder like if over time, is that fixative going to like dry in the pan? I don't know, but I guess I'll only find out over time. But hopefully you can see that like it packs a serious punch. It really goes on, and it's like, oh, it's there once it's there, let me tell you. So I am not going to use a glitter glue, which honestly is kind of nice. You know, sometimes I think the reason people don't use glitter is just because it's kind of a pain in the butt. It takes time to do because, you know, you have to like grab the glitter glue and spread that out, and then you have to like grab the glitter and spread that out. And sometimes I wonder if people are just like, yeah, I don't have time for any of that. Now, I did get a bit of fallout when I applied that. I think it's because I very stupidly, at one point, I got like a little clump over here and I went to rub it. Don't do that, which is fine because I just put like the very slightest amount of concealer on, knowing that I probably was gonna have some fallout. So I can just add a little bit of concealer, but I'm gonna try to take a brush with this glitter and just pop a little bit more in here. Yeah, I think that's much better. Yeah, I like that better. I like it just with that little bit more glitter towards the inside. So I think I'm gonna just take my blender into that black hole shade and try to just build up this outside a little bit more. Make the shape even bigger. Now, obviously, since this palette does not have any like true powder mattes, you will have to pull in another palette if you want to use mattes. But honestly, if I'm paying $125 for a palette this size, I don't want to get a bunch of basic mattes. I want something special. So I have no problem pulling out other mattes. I will say, as I've been using this, it is very, very, very creamy. So a little goes a long way. So start small and then like kind of like blend as you go. Otherwise you're gonna end up with a lot of it on. All right, so since I went ham with the glitter and I started covering up some of that Galaxy shade, I think I'm going to like take it up higher into like the upper, like right above the crease, also known as the upper, just to kind of like get a little bit more of that color impact. And I'm honestly just like building this look upon itself. If you ever check out DANESSA's Instagram, you can see how she'll sometimes do like the evolution of a model where she'll start really simple, she'll add a little bit, she'll add a little bit, she'll add a little bit. And that's really kind of, you know, what happens when you're on set and you're wanting to get multiple looks for a shoot, is like having things that build and layer upon each other. So she is definitely the queen of that. I am going to just clean up, add a little bit of concealer, and we will do some more, get some fun on the lash line. You know how it goes. Right, let's go ahead and grab one of those holographic powders. I'm gonna go ahead and of course go in with Blue Moon. I think it's really just gonna help with the blue vibe of this look. And we'll go through and add that to our inner corner. And this one I am also doing on a wet brush. Oh, I had a swatch on my finger. Oh my gosh, I swatched all the shades to try to decide which of the holographic shades I wanted to use, and I forgot that I had them on my finger. So I saw like a little hair on my face and I went to go grab it, and Spring Equinox was like all over my face. And then in trying to like clean that up, then I rubbed it into something else, and it was just a whole hot mess express here. So we're getting back on track though. All right, so now let's go ahead and take Spring Equinox. Yeah, let's go in with the greeny one. And I'm gonna just run that right here. And what I have been finding recently when I'm playing with shades like this is these more iridescent shades, you don't want your brush too wet, because then it almost comes off like kind of like white paint. Like it just gets a very weird texture, and I find that I just like it if I don't get it too wet. I want it damp, but I don't want it drippy. Not that you really want drippy. You know what I'm saying. So now we're just gonna take on that same brush. I'm not even gonna clean it off because I kind of want to blend it in together. I'm gonna take Strawberry Moon and pop it on the outside. I tell you what I wish that I would have done now is I wish I had put these over a black eyeliner. Oh, I wonder if I can still do that. Okay, so I just took a Makeup Forever liner, just a nice black one. whatever you have that's like long wearing but a little bit smudgy, and I'm just pulling that out first. You totally could use that black hole shade, but until I really know the like wearability of it, I don't know that that's something that I would want on my lower lash line. Again, I'm just gonna go in with those same shades. We're gonna start with Spring Equinox, and then we'll move into Strawberry Moon. So if this shade does happen to be like a little shimmery, I don't want shimmery underneath my lash line because I'm gonna look like a raccoon by the end of the day. All right, I don't know if you're even gonna be able to see that, but I could definitely see, I did a very small line. I would probably smoke out the black just a little bit more to really like carry that, because it really does carry the like blue into the like greeniness and then into that like purple. I really do like that. That's very fun. And like I said, you probably could use this black hole shade. Again, I just don't know, like now that it's been sitting for a while, I'd be curious to see like just how much more this will blend out, because if it doesn't ever really set, I haven't gotten any creasing though since we've been sitting here for a while now, so that's a good sign. No creasing yet. I think these tones are something that a lot of people gravitate towards in palettes like these, are the blues, the purples, things like that. I think you could definitely have like a more wearable soft version of this if you take the black hole shade out of the picture and you use the Galaxy shade with a purple or a blue, like a softer matte rather than like black, because black is a little intense. But I do love a good smoky eye. I really like this. I'm gonna go ahead and put on mascara, and then we'll get to this other eye. We're gonna use another Danessa Myricks product to do some more layering. Right, here we have our final oil slick sparkle eye. I did go ahead and put on a lash. I have on the Lashies Wifey Lash. Well, I have on one Wifey Lash. I really do love a lash with a look like this, like with a smoky eye and a lash. It just kind of like balances out. So now we are gonna play on the other side, and there are quite a few colors in this palette, right? I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to go with this. Now, a couple of these shades that are so stunning are the Duochrome gels. But unless you have like miracle eyelids, those Duochrome gels, I can't see putting them on my lid, maybe on a brow bone. Actually, maybe I'll try that. Hold on just a second. Maybe we'll put Polaris over here on this side, but it really needs to be somewhere that doesn't have a lot of movement because you're gonna get creasing. So those I'm gonna save for the face and maybe a brow bone or two, we will see. And obviously there are just so many that I don't think I can get every single shade in here on my face, but I did want to play with a couple of the shades that I'm kind of excited to see in here. Honestly, one that I was really surprised that I really liked when I swatched it was Aurora. I'm not really normally like a purpley girl, but I feel like this has just enough of something different that it's really pretty. And then this Martian shade. I did not think it translated in the like hand swatch, but it just has like, I could have put it into this look, but there's just something sheer about this that I really like. And that's one thing that I like. You have some opaque colors, you have some more sheer colors. You can really play with opacity with this. So that's really what we're gonna do. And what I thought we would do to really be able to showcase that is go ahead and throw in some color fix. Of course, if you know me, you know that I was gonna pull in a color fix. If you don't know me, welcome to my channel where I love using Danessa Myricks color fix. So these are what I would say multi-purpose cream color base. I'm gonna use two of the mattes. Here we have Chosen and Valentine. I'm gonna mix these together and just really like build up my base and then just blur this out onto the eye. This is gonna make a waterproof base for anything else that you put over the top. So whether you like to use a liquid shadow, a cream shadow, a glitter, whatever, you can go ahead and throw that over these. I just thought it would be a good way to play with this palette and have another matte shade that we're gonna be working with. So I'm gonna do that, I'll be right back. All right, here we are with our base. I really do love this. Love the color fix. So this is just gonna set down. A little dab goes a very long way. I did start out, I don't know who I thought I was, but I started out with the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush, and I just needed to move into something smaller. So I pulled out this Luxie Tapered Blending Brush just to get a little bit more of a delicate zhuzh on the outline. So now we're gonna go ahead and go through with Aurora and Martian. So I think I'm gonna start off with Aurora. yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. You know how we do as we start playing, we're like, I don't know, is that what I'm gonna do? So let's take this Spectrum and KJH number 12 brush. I'm just gonna go in with it dry at first, and we're gonna throw this on our lid. Oh, now the thing about multi-chromes is I really do feel like a lot of the time to get the true magic of it, you're better off with less is more. Like, I am going to try, like right now, I really truly just want to like swipe this over my whole lid and be done, because it's going to look like I tried much harder than I really did. But I'm not going to do that because we're trying to use a lot of the colors in here. So I am just going to stick to that. But oh, look, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's like this like kind of like old gold into this beautiful like purple. Oh, it's just so unique. I really like this shade. I'm gonna just take and wipe this off, and then we're gonna use Martian over that inner corner. Now this shade is a little bit more like translucent, like I was saying, so it's going to give us a little bit of a different vibe, because that Aurora, yeah, Aurora shade is much more opaque. I'm just gonna take that a little bit higher up over my crease. This is so fun. Oh my gosh, I love this look. Like, I could be done right now. I think we're just gonna do a little inner corner. I think I'm actually going to leave the lower lash line. Like, there's just something about this, like having all the color on the upper part. I think maybe I'll do like a colored liner, and then we'll leave the lash line. So let's go ahead and do a little pop. So we have Strawberry Moon out here. I know the only one we haven't used is Golden Eclipse. This is literally what I do when I'm trying to decide what I want for my inner corner, especially with these like very translucent shades, because they can look so different once you get them on the eye. So I think I'm going to do Golden Eclipse just because we haven't used that one yet. So let's go ahead and take a brush. I'm just going to use it dry, and we're going to pop a little Golden Eclipse on. Now on this side I have zero fallout, none at all. On the other side with that darker color, the Galaxy shade, I had some fallout, and then of course with the glitter I had a little fallout. Honestly, if I'm playing with shades like this, I am more than likely going to be doing my eyes first, and then my makeup, my face. Eyes are part of your makeup, Kelly, come on now. I love it, I love it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do lashes again, and then we'll come back, we'll play with these Duochrome gels, we'll do a little cheek action. I think this is gonna be fun. All right, before I throw on a lash, I just wanna show you what this looks like, because I would totally wear this without a lash. Like, because I feel like you're gonna be able to see more of the shift, more of the colors. It's beautiful, balanced, but not too much. But since I have a lash on this side, I really just wanna throw a lash on this side. So I'm gonna do that. We'll come back again and play with the face. Eyes are done, really liking this. I'm a little bit bummed because I just tried to film a transition reel and Instagram is not letting me like save the clips. Anyway, it would have been really awesome. If it ends up going up, it's gonna be cool, but I can't seem to get it to work. Anyway, so now we're gonna go through and we're gonna use some of these Duochrome gels. So, nope, they're up here, Kelly. So we have Spacesuit and we have Polaris. So right away, I wanna use Polaris up on my brow bone just so that we can get a little feel for this. These are definitely that like wet kind of like gel texture that I'm really excited to try out. So let's go ahead and just use a small little almost like pencil brush. So I don't think that these are going to dry down. They're just gonna stay with that like kind of creamy feel to them. Now you could take this shade and layer one of the iridescent shades over the top, and that would be really pretty, and it would be, you know, almost like setting down a cream. So you could definitely always do that. I'm gonna kind of like blend this down into that black hole shade. So it definitely just gives it that like phosphorescent look, if you will. So I think I'm going to use this spacesuit shade on this side. It's definitely going to be a contrast, but I think we can just like add it in so that you can see what it would look like. Now, I will definitely say, like, don't use colors like this if you are worried about enhancing texture, because anytime you add like this type of shimmery feel, you're going to get some enhanced texture. But this could be a really pretty topper shade. This gives me the vibes of that one Kaleidos highlighter. Is it Mars Melter that I'm thinking of? I'm not sure, but it definitely has a beautiful shift. I would definitely use this. I really like that. Now I want to use some of these iridescents on the face. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take, let's take Strawberry Moon. I might layer these actually. I'm going to take Strawberry Moon. Oh, she's a strong one. Now, I'll be honest, I'm more likely to use a shifty color like this in a cream form because it just is a little more subtle than I would with this one, but do you, boo. So then I'm going to take Golden Eclipse and we're just going to kind of like blend this. I will say, as I'm doing this, I'm getting like glitter. I don't know if you'll be able to see it like in the camera, but she's going everywhere. So if you are going to use this and like buff it onto the face, obviously you're kind of like shaking glitter everywhere. So just know that's going to be what happens. So we've got Golden Eclipse like run up. Is there such a thing as highlight draping? Because there should be. If there is, this is what we're doing. I'm just kind of like blending those two together. And this, you know, this kind of like here is coordinating with a little bit on our inner corner. I really like this a lot. So here we have our two finished looks. All right, I have to say this is the most fun I've had playing with a new makeup purchase in a while. Well, I definitely had fun with the Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey, but this is just like different formulas, and I think that this is something that's really nice if you are one who likes to use different textures, if you really get irritated by having to like go grab a multi-chrome, go grab like a little iridescent, grab a little fun gel to play with. This is really going to be great because it's all in one place, and I think that that's really where some of the value of this comes in. So I have to say, like, there really isn't any shade in here, and I know there's a couple in here we didn't use. We didn't use Soul and we didn't use Solarian, but in all honesty, those are like your two neutral shades. So I feel like, I mean, the Solarian shade though, ooh, I cannot wait to get that on my face this fall. It's gonna be happening. Check Instagram. That's all I have to say. But, you know, I really think that these were all pretty user-friendly. The one thing that I will say is I do think that that Black Hole shade, it is very, very spreadable. So I do think that it's set down. I still have no creasing, and I mean, we've been here for a hot minute as I've been playing. I have no creasing and it hasn't gone anywhere. So I do think that that sets down pretty well, but you can blend it, blend it, blend it, blend it. So if you are not super comfortable with blacks and then also like creamy creams, you might want to steer away from that. Now, I did go ahead and use a product that isn't in this palette, but let's face it, you are probably at some point going to want to grab a matte of some sort to play with this palette, and I chose to grab some Color Fix for longevity and also just layerability. So I really love this. You're gonna have to let me know what you think, and now I'm gonna let you know what I think. So $125 is a pricey palette. It really, really is. Like, it kind of killed me to do. I have to say, I don't know if this was from another brand and it wasn't DANESSA, I probably would have passed on it at this price point. But you guys know I'm a sucker for DANESSA, and I really wanted to try this and have it in my collection. I really also liked that Beautylish, and I think DANESSA MYRICKS was also offering it, but that little extra 4-pack really added value for me. Now, obviously it won't add value for me because I've got them here, but it'll add value to be able to give to one of you lovely subscribers. So I look forward to being able to do that in the future in my 2K giveaway. But I do have to say, like, I think that there are comparable shades of this in other multi-chrome formulas from indie brands. So now as far as the value of this goes compared to other shadows, and again, I do think if this video isn't 9 million years long, I will insert some swatch comparisons. These center shades, so they're very big pans, and in all honesty, I have shades from, I believe, Terra Moon and like Cleona that are similar-ish to these, and I mean, especially Cleona, like you don't get this much product, and those Cleona shadows are very expensive. So I can get the vibes of like Galaxy and even Gaia in some of my Divina shadows or Terra Moon shadows. And I have to say, I have not tried a glitter like this Orion. If you have this palette and you've tried this and there's a glitter out there somewhere that you found to be this workable, you'll have to let me know, because I really like this. I really like this. It's staying on really nicely. It's a subtle, it's like a subtle, I mean, I guess I probably could have like crammed it on even more, but I really like the usability of this, and the Duochrome gels are going to be really fun to play with. Again, I think that that is something that you can find elsewhere. I have actually used the Twin Flames on my cheeks before, but this has actually dried down to almost like what a cream blush would feel like. I was worried that it was going to be super tacky. Let me feel this one. I just want to make sure I don't, no, it's dried down to what a cream blush would feel like. So it's not super tacky. So I feel like I could wear my hair down with this and it wouldn't be like to my face. So I really do like that. I was worried about that, but I am though worried that these are going to dry out. They will at some point, so I feel like when I use this palette, I really need to appreciate these creams just to really like get some use out of them. But this shade, this Spacesuit, now that I know that it dries down fairly well, I would feel a little bit more confident like using it on the inner corner, places that again don't have like major movement, but I think that it actually like sets down a little bit more than I was considering at first. I would not put these in my crease at all though. Like it will crease. So I really do think that there is some good value here. If you look at even just with like the multi-chromes, just the regular powder multi-chromes, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 multi-chromes. If you look at some brands that charge $15, $20, right there, you basically have the value of this. And then of course, these you can find in a lot of formulas, and they aren't quite as expensive as some of the multi-chromes, but they still can get up there, and you get a lot in here. And if you were someone that likes to wear like a beautiful like shifty cheek like this, like the more I wear this, the more I'm really liking it. This is going to be a nice big pan for you to be able to use for a really long time. So I think $125 seems like a lot, but if you are used to buying single shadows, you'll know it doesn't take very long to be able to get there with some of the really special shades. So I'm happy to have this palette. Is it something that you need in your collection if you have a bunch of other single shadows? No. If you are a lover, user, collector of multi-chrome shadows, ones that have beautiful, like slightly different formulas, I think that you will have something similar to this. If you are excited about the opportunity to just have one grab and go with multiple finishes in it, I think you're really going to like this palette. It is really all about celebrating the layering, the textural difference, and so I think that you will have to be someone who enjoys that. And I do think Danessa, at the end of the day, is still catering towards makeup artistry. And that is something that I appreciate. I think that that's something that we have to keep in mind with some of her products that are very mixable, blendable, like you can use it in multiple different ways. Maybe not every like at-home makeup wear, your average makeup wear is going to be able to utilize all of that, but they can still be beautiful products. So if you love playing with shadows like this, textures like this, you're gonna really enjoy it. If you are new to multi-chromes, I would honestly like say get 1 or 2 in different formulas in single shadows to try to see how you like them and play with them. Especially if you are not a cream user, because like I said, I think that these are going to dry out eventually, and then that will be 2 shades within the pan that you won't be able to use. So that is a little bit of a bummer, but it is nice to have in one place. You know how that goes? That's like other face palettes. I don't have a lot of face palettes that have like, let's say, like for instance, the new Natasha Denona Glam palettes that come out, but hers has that little like case in there. But like palettes that have creams and powders in one, I think that that would be where I would say that Danessa could have done this. She could have had like a little section with like a little like, granted the whole unit would have had to have changed, but that's going to be one thing That's the only downside to this to me, is I love those. I think they're going to be beautiful to play with, but I'm worried they're going to dry out. Like they're not the same texture, but the Jelly Much shadows from ColourPop, I really like those. I love the texture. I love how they blend, but they dried out in the pot for me right away. And it was like, ugh, that's a waste. So I'll keep you posted on this. So right now I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 for creativity, a 10 out of 10 for formula, an 8 out of 10 for like value, and maybe like a 7 out of 10 for usability for like an average user. So just because I think that black shade might be hard for some people to use, and then the creams, I'm worried that they dry out. I feel like I'm starting to repeat myself. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I will probably end up taking some time rooting through my stash in the next couple days and finding some similar shades. So that will be after this in this video if you do want to check that out. I hope that you found this either helpful or inspiring or entertaining. If you do have this palette, maybe it just kind of like gives you an idea of what to do with the shades in here. Because I do think when you first look at this, like you're like, is this cohesive? And I think it really is when you kind of like break it apart. So I'm really excited to have this. I love this packaging. Like that is something that I didn't even talk about. This like swirly alligator, it's my vibe. I really love it. Maybe I'm a little biased. Anyway, it's getting late and I am hoping to try that reel one more time, but I will probably be using this more in the future and give you an update on how I'm feeling about it in like a review roundup, or maybe it'll show up in a monthly favorites. But I thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me know if you got this palette or if you're thinking about picking it up, and I'll see you really soon. All right, here we have our first set of swatches. So this is Polaris from the DANESSA MYRICKS palette. Now, this is obviously that cream gel. These are powders, so very different formula. But right away, I grabbed Proteus, which actually has very similar vibes. You're picking up a lot more of that sparkle texture on the camera here, but when I tilt it this way, it is definitely much more sparkly, and that's where you're seeing that difference, but the shades are pretty close. And then this one is even closer, and this is Orion from Divina. By the way, this is Divina, this is Divina. I don't know if I said that, but so I think that Polaris is obviously a bit more smooth, being that gel cream. This has more like sparkle, and then this obviously has way more. So that's just, you know, they're similar colors. It just depends on which one you like the texture and finish of. All right, so this is one that I thought I got pretty close. Like you can see here that there's some of that vibe, but the minute I put these into the light, they are so very different. So this is Galaxy from DANESSA MYRICKS, and man, the blue, purple, and teal shift on this is something that I don't have in my collection. I know that there are some out there. I actually think that Divina might have one in the Aurora flares, but this is Beauregard from Sydney Grace, and this is Beetlejuice from Glam Shop. So they all have the same like violet purple color, but the minute you go into the shift, like see here, they all kind of look similar. And then the minute they come here, they're totally different, but that's as close as I have in my collection. All right, moving into comparisons of Martian. This is DANESSA MYRICKS Martian. This is DANESSA MYRICKS Soulmate in the Twin Flames formula, so that's that liquid or cream, if you will. And then this is Heavenly from Pretties for Your Face. So I think like these are very, very close, but Soulmate has a bit more of a green hue to it and doesn't get quite as much as that like lavender blue. And then this one, almost the Heavenly, has more of the blue, but doesn't quite get quite as much of the green, but these are pretty close. Now, I will say, I actually really like the Twin Flames. I know they get a lot of flack, but to me, they are best worn like blended out on the eye to look almost like this, like to look almost like a powder shadow. I think that sometimes with the cream shadows, like people just, they layer them up too much to try to get that really, really foiled finish, and you're just going to end up with more texture there. So I really do like these, and this is a pretty shade. Okay, so these are not necessarily like dupes, but I just want to say this is Soul from DANESSA MYRICKS. This is 365 from JD Glow, and the last two are Sydney Grace shadows. So let me see if I can get these out without digging my nails in. So the first one, the one that's more yellow, is the shade Be the Sunshine, and then the last one is Light My World. So can I just say, I actually like all three of these better than this one. Like this, I think, is a very basic gold. Like it's beautiful, but I think it's like a very basic gold. whereas I feel like these other ones are just more fun. And that's why I don't necessarily have something to dupe this out, because I feel like you can get a gold like this in a lot of palettes, whereas if I'm buying single shadows, I want something that's a little bit different and fun. So just had to give my little 2 cents. Okay, this is kind of cheating, but this is Strawberry Moon. It kind of went on strong because I was trying to like wipe my hand off with a wipe, but it's a little damp here. So that's Strawberry Moon, Blue Moon, and then this is Spring Equinox, if you can see it here. So this is Terra Moon's Space Baby, and I feel like it is a love child of all 3 of them. Like definitely Spring Equinox and Blue Moon, but it actually does have a little bit of pink flip to it. So I feel like you need a little Strawberry Moon in there too. So if you like the vibe of this, Space Baby is a beautiful one. I think I got this because of Millie. I think that she said that she really likes this one, and it's so pretty. So these ones in the middle row from Danessa are they're very high glitter. I have some that are like not quite the same tones, but everything I was swatching isn't quite as like glittery. It's like a little bit smoother and more like holographic or duochrome. I know Danessa says holographic, but I feel like it's more like duochrome. These ones definitely have more like of the glitter vibe to them. So I just wanted to say, like, if you wanted to just get one pan that's very magical and you didn't want to have to mix all of them, Space Baby would be the way to go. All right, here we have the Duochrome Gel Spacesuit from Danessa Myricks. This is a Danessa Myricks Twin Flames in Forever, and I would say that they are an exact dupe. The Twin Flames, because it's more of that like liquid and not a gel, this is much more opaque. You can definitely blend it out. I use this one all the time in the fall. It is so gorgeous, and I really do buff this out with a synthetic brush on my eyelid, so it does come out looking a little bit closer to this, but it is very pretty. And then this is Centaurus from Divina. So similar color vibe. I think that Centaurus actually has a little bit more of a flip to it, like maybe one extra color, like a nice greeny gold in there, and then it also has more sparkle. So if you love yourself some sparkle, Divina shadows are always the way to go. All right, the closest one I have, this is Aurora from Danessa, and this is Head Rush from Terra Moons. So they have close shifts, but they're not the same. I'm honestly wondering, now this one might actually be the one that's like Australis from Divina, but I'm wondering if this would be a good dupe for it. Ugh, I have to go back and watch Millie's video, but this was the closest one I had. All right, here we have pretty darn close. This is Gaia from Danessa, and then this one is Chromosphere from Divina. This is one of the Aurora flares, and this definitely has that like gold to green shift. They're pretty darn close. All right, this one I definitely do not have a dupe for. I have glitter all over me, and my palettes are strung everywhere. So this is Solarian from the Danessa Myricks palette. This is the closest one I could find. This is Chromatic from Cleona, and I feel like they have a similar vibe and shift, but Solarian is deeper. So like I feel like Solarian has a deeper base. Like you can definitely tell when I shift. They seem like the same colors, but this one is still deeper. So that's the best I could do, you guys, but I mean, they're close-ish. You can get that vibe. I can get like cotton candy. Oh, I dropped her. She's okay. She's a tough bitch.